question is, how do you plan to restructure board as you mentioned in your platform?
So currently right now, IVP has a lot of responsibilities to do. Now, though given we were a small club 3 years ago, maybe around 30 members or so, with us reaching 300, IVP would be managing mentorship, internship, bands, just looking over those 3 major programs. That's a lot to handle, especially working with 300 people. What I plan to do in terms of separating tasks is for IVP to still hold a key role in looking over those specific programs, but now moving those programs to other roles. For example, academics to hold a greater responsibility on mentorship, or for similar to that of what our sister org Kapabayan does in moving internship under presidency. I think pushing this sort of initiative with roles would ensure that we would have less burnout, especially for the IVP role, while also ensuring that everyone within board gets to also have a greater collaborative experience in determining the outcomes of these programs.
Your next question is, you highlighted professional opportunities as something you wanted to focus on for Fusion General members. What is your professional vision for the club, and how do you plan to implement these ideas?
So it is unfortunate currently in the current administration that we are facing a rollback on DEI initiatives, which leads to a lot of companies to no longer support our current programs. For example, with FGN no longer being able to hold key roles in our FIP project. With that being said, I don't think hope is lost. Ensuring that we continue to reach out to alumni, ensuring that we continue to reach out to other people, not specifically just orgs, but individuals via other means necessary through LinkedIn, through email, through cold emailing. I think that will allow an opportunity for us to explore different opportunities that we can offer towards our general members, both professionally and personally.
Fusion has been called a social club instead of an engineering/STEM club. How would you make sure our identity is restored as an engineering STEM club as well as being cultural?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for Fusion, stemming from Kababayan as a Filipino STEM club, I think what's important is we continue the current initiatives that we have right now. With that being a close tie with our sister orgs, continuing to support collaboration with the events that we're doing. Furthermore, when it comes to engineering and ICS, continuing to reach out in those spaces, keeping in contact with both the respective councils of ICS and also engineering, ensuring that we still stay relevant in those spaces. Through those means, I believe that we can continue to uphold our definition of a club focusing on STEM instead of strictly on social aspects.
As mentioned in your platform, you talked a little bit about general members hosting meetings or workshops. Could you please go a little bit more in depth about that?
Yeah, so Kababayan does a really great job of this. I was actually quite inspired when I attended one of their meetings, and it was their week-niners. So week-niners is an opportunity for board to choose general members to host a meeting. And they also get to film their own lift-up, and then they get to decide what the activities are for that day. I think allowing that opportunity for general members who maybe don't have the chance to do internship or class reps, maybe they've grown throughout the year, and then we're now at the end of the year where they've fully grown to their maximum potential of being a leader. I think it's a great opportunity to provide general members the opportunity to lead and understand what it's like to be on the board, understand what it's like to be talking in front of a whole organization. Furthermore, I believe that when it comes to workshops, we're only constricted to what board can offer, what the skill sets and the ideals that we as board have to offer. But yet, we stand here as a club of almost 300 members with multiple different ideas of what we contribute for the space to be. I think through giving that output, through giving the chance of input and opportunity to allow other general members to participate in leading, not only creates greater events, opportunities, more quality events, but also allows for others to shine and understand what it's like to lead.
With so many already existing existing programs and the exponential growth of our club membership, how do you plan on expanding club activities despite only having the same limited 7 days a week?
It's a great question. So given the increased member count of Fusion coming up, and also given the limited amount of availability in what we can offer, I think it's important that we listen to what the general members want, what they would want to see in the space, while also keeping into consideration of what we would see as possible as board. Given the logistical challenge of managing an event that might be over 100, or that might be even like 100 people, I think it's important for board to take on initiative on that, and that would be a great emphasis that I would put on, especially for next year, to consider that. Right, as we continue to grow, it's also important for us to continue to be sustainable. If we continue to push more forward with the current events that we have, and we continue to see a growth in membership, we start to see a bigger org in which the original thought of what we wanted Fusion to be, for what the founders initially wanted Fusion to be. So I think what's important as we continue to grow, we focus not only on ensuring that we still keep the quality of our programs, but also allow for a greater opportunity for people to join in. And going back to my previous point of having general members having a say in seeing what kind of activities we want to see for Fusion, I think that plays in a greater role in ensuring that as we continue to grow, we'll still have the same quality sort of programs that we would have today.
What specific qualities do you hold that make you an especially good leader in order to lead this growing organization?
It's a great question. I would say it's my interpersonal skills. I played a lot of roles as a leader since high school. I was the AAC executive president for my school, and then a drum major managing a team. Being here in the Fusion space, coming in as an intern and now as a board member, now overlooking 70 people and ensuring that they create a product that matches of what we would want them to produce, I feel like me being able to navigate through those interpersonal relationships and communicate through what we would want to achieve, I believe makes me a strong candidate to be your president next year. And that's not only in the terms and aspects of just board, but also in general members. Fusion is a space not just for just single groups of people, but as for all of us as a whole. Minimizing clickiness, and then ensuring that we create a sort of open environment is one of my goals for next year. And with my interpersonal skills, I believe I can achieve that.
As president, you will face conflict, divide, potential turmoil, and have to be the face of action against it. What's your experience with this, and how do you typically handle it?
Yeah, so in terms of overarching events, I've definitely experienced this a lot in my previous experience as being the president of my school. Facing backlash, even though it might have not been my fault, but more so of other board members not fulfilling their duties. As president, I fully assume the responsibilities of the actions that my board members make, and it is my responsibility to ensure that they reach to a standard in which I hold them to be as board members. With that being said, I take full-on responsibility of their actions in terms of degrading Fusion's image. And in terms of those case scenarios, it's really from there just communicating with the affected party. Ensuring that when it comes to that affected relationship, ensuring that we still keep that relationship with them, communicating with them on all the specific issues that have occurred, and continuing on that relationship moving forward after the conflict.
As an upcoming third year, you will be handling a lot of different experiences and upper division classes.
Yeah.
How will you ensure that you are able to perform your best as president while working effectively to prevent burnout?
So one of the things that I love about Fusion is that I found my group, that I found my my support group, the people that I can rely on. And I think that's such an incredible and important thing, especially to prevent burnout. Being in a space where I'm reminded of why I joined this club, why I'm excited to be here, why I'm running for president, really inspires me to continue to push forward. Furthermore, I believe my current academic holding, or my current academic standing, makes me in the perfect position to run for this role. I stand where I only have to take 12 units per quarter, and when it comes to other commitments, I'm starting to wind down on other commitments so I can put in a greater effort in my vision for Fusion. Furthermore, when it comes to those specific scenarios, when I do face burnout, when I do face challenges, the biggest thing that I would do is just to reach out for help. Even though as me being president, as being the face of Fusion, as being a leader in Fusion, sometimes when you're a leader, it's important to understand that it's okay to ask for help. And with that being said, when I face turmoil, when I face these specific challenges where it's hard to keep on pushing forward, when it's hard to remember why I did this role for, what I would do is to continue to communicate, continue to say my problems, and from there work towards a solution to the point where I can get back on my feet.
Even though Fusion is known as an engineering/STEM organization, how would you ensure that Fusion stays a safe space for those with different majors?
I think the idea that I brought up about increased general membership engagement in defining our space is a great opportunity to allow for those that don't directly identify as Filipino or don't identify as a STEM major to still contribute and still have an active role in defining what Fusion is. Though we specialize in engineering and ICS, and though we are one of the sister orgs of Alianza, we still act as a safe space for BIPOC people here at UCI to continue to elevate and give them opportunities to shine, gain personal skills, and live through the college experience. So those of you, I believe, pushing on the initiatives of greater general membership engagement would lead to greater inclusivity of everyone.
Critique the current position holder.
So, that's actually really hard. That was actually one of the questions that I prepared for this. And the thing was, it's hard. Haley is such an incredible leader. She's gone through so much, especially given the 4 years that she's been here, being in leadership position from freshman year to now, and still pursuing on forward. I can't really give her, but I can continue to yap on how amazing she is, and she's really a role model in what I want to be as president for Fusion. With that being said, I think some things overall in terms of the current position holder, she does an amazing job of ensuring board stays intact. It's a collaborative community. One thing that I think we can improve on though is interactivity with the general members. A lot of the stuff that Haley does is generally behind the scenes, and it's a lot of work, especially as board members. We identify the amount of work that she does, but for general members, there's not really a lot of interactivity with her. So with that being said, I think moving internship under presidency would be a great solution towards this, as to have greater general membership engagement with the president, greater access for each other to communicate on specific ideas, and also balancing, going back to the previous problem of balancing the roles within board.
So this will be your last question. Feel free to take some time to really process this. But as president, you have to express yourself and your goals in many different ways. Can you please show us your favorite dance moves?
Okay, my favorite dance move is this one.
Thank you so much. Thank you, round of applause for Benson. So